In recent years, one of the more common names to hear in the Sonic space has been Tyson Hesse, an illustrator and animator that has been responsible for several projects since the release of Sonic Mania. He has a distinctive art style, which has led to some people creating the concept of Tyson Hesse Sonic, an idea I don't entirely agree with. Looking at the illustrations and animations he's worked on, there isn't really this consistent Sonic some people seem to believe there is, especially when you begin to bring in how you would play in a potential game. But that's what we've got today, Tyson Hesse Sonic, created by BlueM. Let's dive in. Moveset wise, Tyson Hesse Sonic has a very clear game plan: speed. Essentially, all 4 of your abilities and passive bonuses are designed first and foremost to keep your speed at record paces, which means that I, someone who can be kindly described as not very good at SRB2, can struggle somewhat with keeping up with the guy. Especially after an extended period of playing pretty much exclusively super OP characters bursting with incredible traversal options or level packs, going back to this archetype has been a bit of an indicator that I may have somewhat atrophied in skill. Or I can blame it on playing on controller. That's what all the pros do. You really lack much in the way of extended movement options, with really only one ability that can be vaguely considered to fit this bill, the Levy Dash. Your jump ability acts as a weird mix of double jump and Falk, as you essentially perform a mid-air spin dash sandwiched between 2 small in-air hops. I find it an intriguing ability, with a deceptively long range to how far you can travel when timed correctly, but with a few weaknesses to balance it out. It can be very difficult to use this to correct small jumps during platforming, as it does very quickly launch you, giving you little time to react, and it will be automatically cancelled if held too long, which will inevitably happen while jumping over a bottomless pit or some similar peril. It also has the ability to skim over the surface of water, but this can be difficult to time with the small jump that happens first considered. If I had to give some feedback here though, I feel it currently feels isolated from the rest of TH Sonic's moveset, and could do with being able to be comboed with his other area ability, the Drop Dash. Yes, if there's one ability that is most often tied to this concept of the Tyson Hesse Sonic, it's absolutely the Drop Dash. Both debuted in Sonic Mania, and it just fits so well aesthetically with Hesse's use of squash and stretch that it just creates his perfect match. Drop dashes are common abilities for many SRB2 modded characters, but this is one of the more unique variations, as your landing speed is calculated from how long you spent in the air rather than being a constant amount. This prioritizes attempting to perform some badnik bouncing, and means you get a real rush whenever you jump from a particularly high point, as you just know the dopamine will kick in when you land and take off at max speeds. Or alternatively, you can just cheat and use sealed abilities. As these are mapped to spin, as is the Drop Dash, they grant some special effects if held while performing this move. For the most part, it seems most of the changes are just performing the standard sealed ability before you start the Drop Dash, particularly good in the case of the Whirlwind sealed, but as the Force sealed seem to increase in how quickly Drop Dash power builds up, there are some more unique effects as well. These combine very well with TH Sonic's final 2 abilities. Holding Custom 1 will begin to charge a peel out, another ability commonly associated with Tyson Hesse's iterations of the character, likely just due to how he often draws Sonic with the iconic infinity effect that this ability causes. It acts mostly like a weaker version of the Spin Dash, with a lower base speed upon full release and losing speed more easily, but its main function is to guarantee an immediate transition into TH Sonic's first level of boost mode. Yes, Tyson Hesse Sonic essentially has Crystal Sonic's version of the Dash mode, with a 2-level effect occurring. Level 1 only really gives you the acceleration effect of Dash mode, ramping up to Level 2's massive increase in speed, along with the spike breaking, badnik destroying effect the original version has. Put simply, this causes a lot of neurons to activate in the brain, even if the obscene level of speed can only really be sustained for a short period of time without delving into speedrunning techniques. The fact that I can reach this speed at all, and not be stuck at level 1, means I will confidently say that my skills at this game have improved at least a little bit over the time I've run this channel. Sprites are just a little bit more of a mixed bag. I'm not saying they're bad. For a classic inspired version of Sonic, these are much more recognisable than many other mods from vanilla SRB2 Sonic, even if they still seem to say ball sprites. It's just that I really like certain sprites, like being damaged or holding onto the Araucanian ropes, while not particularly liking ones like his death sprite. The base running sprites are also a bit iffy for me. I think the legs look incredible in boost mode, as well as the aura that surrounds you upon reaching max speed. I just don't really like the quills. I can see what they're going for. Hesse always draws Sonic in such a way that you can always see the points of the quills, in order to stop the tumor look that can otherwise occur. I just don't think it's worked as well here, as the quills don't move, meaning it just looks a little bit messy. In the future, I think this is what will need to be addressed before anything else, as just scrolling through other people's reviews of the mod, you can see this is blatantly the biggest point of contention. Overall, Tyson Hesse Sonic is an overall quite good, if a little flawed, character, with a good number of really nice sprites and a relatively fun moveset. It's quite similar to mods like Crystal Sonic, so not the most unique, but I'll honestly say I prefer TH Sonic's moveset than theirs. It's mostly just because I really hate the Atom Dash and can never get my head around the Spin Drift, and I feel the Levy Dash remedies both characters' otherwise lacking vertical mobility. The main problem are messy back sprites, and apparently a lack of a super form, but with the mod supposedly still being updated, specifically with these problems in mind, I reckon the mod will eventually surpass them. I'll give it a 7 out of 10, edging into an 8. I hope you enjoyed the video, and ciao.